Breaking news right now at 7. We're at the scene of a triple shooting in Wilson. Our breaking news tracker is live.
Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. I'm tracking showers with the potential for flooding when and where the rain will be the heaviest.
Then, social media scandal. A Wake County teacher is under scrutiny for comments made about Charlie Kirk. What the school district says about its social media policy after outcry from parents.
Lots of breaking news to get you tonight. We have to start with the forecast, though. Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. Thanks for being with us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Ashley Rowe.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. It's been a while since we've seen rain. We could see totals between 2 and 4 inches. Mike, let's talk to you. This looks like it's going to be an all-day thing.
It does have that potential, and again, some very heavy rainfall. In fact, the Weather Service issued a flood watch that's in effect roughly from Henderson and over toward Lewisburg and points east. Now, I'm curious to see if they'll expand it farther to the west, because the flood threat has actually been pushed farther to the west, according to the Weather Prediction Center. But this starts tonight and lasts through the day tomorrow due to area of low pressure that's offshore. And notice the movement. It's backing to the north and to the west. This is not a tropical area of low pressure, but an area of low pressure that will generate quite a bit of rain. It will be breezy, and tomorrow far cooler than what we had today. It's quite possible tomorrow may be in the 60s compared to the 70s and 80s we had today. So at 7 o'clock, the model showing widespread rain. I think it's a little bit overdone, and it will be overdone till probably about midnight or so. But after midnight, we start to see an increase in rain off to the east as the low starts to push to the north and west. There's a look at 3 a.m. And finally, by the morning commute, we see widespread rain that could be heavy. Twofold reason for the weather alert day: the potential for wet roads for the morning commute and a treacherous head off to school, and also that threat for flooding. I'll have more with Futurecast for tomorrow coming up.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mike. Let's move now to some more breaking news, this time in Wilson tonight. Police say 2 people are dead and a third person injured after a shooting on Washington Street. Sky 5 over that scene earlier this evening.
Yeah, we are told that the shooting happened just after 2 o'clock. WRAL's Eric Miller is live in Wilson tonight. Eric, police have identified the victims in this case. What do we know about them?
Well, Ashley, we do importantly know that an arrest has been made here as well, though at this point we're still working to learn that person's name, as well as what exactly led up to this absolutely awful situation playing out here in Wilson this evening. You take a look behind me, you see this investigation going on now for 5 hours and counting. Members of the forensics team with Wilson PD out here in front of the home where all of this seems to have played out. We've got about half a block sealed off behind crime scene tape here. You take a look at this video from Sky 5, you get a sense of the scale of the scene. We know the victims here were Natasha Sutton, Avante Pender, and Tiffany Fogg. Sutton and Pender were pronounced dead here at the scene. Fogg was rushed to Wilson Medical Center. We're told that she is likely to recover from her injuries here. However, so many unanswered questions at this point. We're still working to learn exactly who it was that's been arrested, what exactly led up to this deadly shooting this afternoon. We're continuing to dig into that, what might have happened here. We'll bring you those answers as soon as we get them. In Wilson, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
All right, more to learn. We will check back in with Eric. Now to more breaking news. This time in downtown Raleigh, hundreds of people there have gathered in Moore Square for an event remembering Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist who was assassinated last week. As we take a live look overhead, we also have WRAL's Willie Danley joining us live on the ground in downtown tonight. A big crowd out there for this.
Yes, Dan, it's safe to say that there are well over 200 people that came here to Moore Square Plaza to remember the life of Charlie Kirk. I want to show you what's happening right over my shoulder there. They have people who are taking the microphone, sharing memories and things that they know about Charlie Kirk. I want you to take a look at this video that we captured here. Right now, people are sharing their memories, talking about the impact that they say that Charlie Kirk had on the country. Since being here, I've seen protesters in the area, at least 2 of them, one person holding a sign and another person wearing a mask who was escorted off of Moore Square property by Raleigh police. Right now, this visual is contained to Moore Square Plaza and people are not moving around the area. So as of now, there is no impact to traffic. We are going to remain here and keep you updated on what's going on here at this vigil, online and on air. Back to you.
All right. Thank you to Willie. And maybe you have heard about the many people across the country who have been fired or gotten in trouble for what they have posted online about Charlie Kirk's murder. Tonight, we're going to take a look at the First Amendment. Can your employer fire you for what you post online? Well, it kind of depends. We're going to get into the nuance of that later in the newscast.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, just about a 15-minute walk from where Willie was live, there is another tribute to Charlie Kirk happening in downtown Raleigh, this one at Halifax Mall, much smaller in nature. Our breaking news tracker is there right now, and we'll continue to monitor.
All right, thank you. So let's roll through some of the other big headlines from today. These are the 5 things you should know right now. Former North Carolina Congressman Wiley Nickel has announced he is now running for the Wake County District Attorney job. The Cary Democrat is a former state lawmaker who served in Congress from 2023 till the end of last year. He launched a campaign for U.S. Senate but dropped out in July when former Governor Roy Cooper entered the race. The election for Wake County DA is November 2026. The Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office says a 17-year-old fired shots during a football game last week. The suspect is not in custody at this time and is not a student in that school district, they say. This is video of a very scary situation. The shooting happened on Friday. It was at Southwest Edgecombe High School. Deputies say there was a fight between 2 people. The teenagers were hurt. Some safety protocols are in place now at both schools this week. One of the people charged with killing a 10-year-old girl in a boating crash will likely stay behind bars. Today, a Chatham County judge denying Anne Marie Flanagan's request to lower her bond. The family of Brooklyn Carroll, the little girl, they sat in the front row of the courtroom just feet away. Flanagan's attorney pointed to a clean criminal record, her history as a combat nurse with the military, and her responsibility as a caretaker for her son with autism. This did not sway the judge. Her bond will stay at $1 million.
A high-wire rescue in downtown Raleigh to save window washers stuck hundreds of feet above ground. Sky 5 captured the scene on Fayetteville Street, showing the men climbed to safety through a window on the 29th floor as fire crews gathered below. We're told the lift they used to go from floor to floor lost power. Good news here, no one was hurt. Governor Stein will take his fight for Helene aid to Washington, D.C., asking for billions of dollars from federal lawmakers. He says the White House has slowed the process and blames red tape with FEMA created by the Trump administration. Stein has found an ally across the aisle with Republican Senator Ted Budd. Budd wouldn't vote for a Homeland Security nominee because he wanted FEMA to release more funding for the mountains. Stein plans to ask for over $13 billion. Across the nation, people are fired up about Charlie Kirk, about his murder, about the things he said. And people are sounding off on social media. It's getting a growing number of them in trouble. Aren't they protected by the First Amendment, though? The answer is nuanced. We're going to talk about it after the break.
Ahead and some stories that we're keeping an eye on for you this week. Tomorrow, both suspects in the deadly shooting of a Wake County deputy are expected in court. Alder and Arturo Marin Sotelo are accused of killing Deputy Ned Bird. They're scheduled to face a judge at 9 a.m. On Wednesday, the Federal Reserve will meet and announce the next steps for interest rates. Forecasters expect them to lower interest rates for the first time since December.
On Thursday, a CDC panel will vote on whether to recommend the latest version of the COVID vaccine. Their ruling could determine who gets access to the shot in North Carolina. We're back after the break.
Welcome back. We are following along with 2 separate tributes for Charlie Kirk happening in downtown Raleigh. This is Moore Square. Sky 5 is flying above right now. Several hundred people in attendance. We're also seeing some law enforcement in the perimeter. This is the larger of the 2 tributes. Then just about a 15-minute walk away, another tribute happening in downtown Raleigh, this time at Halifax Mall, much smaller in nature. Our breaking news tracker is there right now, and we'll continue monitoring.
All right, Carly. The news of Charlie Kirk's death inspired people around the country to take to social media to voice their thoughts on the shooting and the state of our politics. And in some cases, it's been met with swift public reaction. There are now calls for a Wake County teacher to be fired for a social media post on Facebook. WRAL's Kirsten Clark spoke with legal analysts who say the request is in conflict with free speech rights.
This is a post that Idris Abdul Aziz allegedly shared on social media after Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. We have blurred some of the strong language in the post. Now, it has since been deleted, and we haven't been able to find Abdul Aziz on social media. But the situation raises questions about whether Wake County policy is in conflict with free speech. The post reads, in part, quote, "Black people stating RIP for a bigot white supremacist is crazy talk. What did he say about black women again?" Words about the late Charlie Kirk drawing backlash from parents now asking for Idris Abdul Aziz to be fired. The post reflects many others on social media shared after Kirk's death, referencing comments the political activist made during campus debates or on the Charlie Kirk show.
If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily wholesome. It creates resentment.
We confirmed that Abdul Aziz is still actively employed at Millbrook High School, where he has taught since 2018. The Wake County Public School System declined to comment on the post due to state law, but a spokesperson shared the school system's social media guidelines, which state that employees who share inappropriate or offensive content via their personal social media accounts may face disciplinary action. I sat down today with North Carolina employment lawyer Laura Noble, who says public employees like Abdul Aziz are protected by the First Amendment.
No matter how much you disagree with it or agree with it, it is not the government's role, according to our Constitution, to take action against people who choose to express themselves in a personal way on whatever platform they choose.
A sentiment echoed by the vice president of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression.
This is where we get into the issue of the free speech culture, and that we have to sometimes encounter speech that we don't like or that makes us uncomfortable. And that's the price, I guess, of being in a free society.
I also tried reaching out to Abdul Aziz about the post and related concerns. I was not able to reach him. In Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
This is just one example of someone's job being threatened over their comments on social media regarding Charlie Kirk. We've actually seen people fired in North Carolina and beyond. A PR employee for the Carolina Panthers was fired for his posts about Kirk. An employee at Clemson University was fired for their posts. Multiple Florida educators and even a wildlife employee were all fired for their posts. It's important to say there is a deliberate effort underway to target people who post about Kirk in ways that are seen as offensive. Look at this post from Laura Loomer, an influential figure on the right with direct access to President Trump. In a response to a post about people cheering Kirk's death, she wrote, "Send me their names. Let's get them fired." But you probably know this is far from a new phenomenon. The act of targeting someone for what they say on social media has been around for years, and it's not specific to one political party. A sheriff's deputy in the Kansas City area was fired for a post that was anti-deportation. An attorney in Chicago was fired for sending anti-Semitic messages. A fire department employee in St. Louis was fired for posting insensitive remarks about a police shooting. A school board member in Texas was fired for using curse words in a social media post. A city employee in Illinois was fired for posting racist comments, and then that employee was actually rehired. And that is just scratching the surface. There is a never-ending list of examples. Some made national news, but others didn't. There is a legitimate debate to be had about targeting people for what they post, if people should try to alter other people's lives for something that they said on social media. And where you land on that probably depends on what you think about the comments made by the person in question. But we should answer a more central question. Is this allowed? Can employers, private or public, fire you for what you say on social media? I spoke with someone at the ACLU.
There are certainly different protections for private versus public employees. If it's personal speech on a matter of public concern, that is the type of speech that is often afforded the most protections under the First Amendment, alongside political speech. And the gist of it is that a lot of the protections for private employees are variable depending what state you're in. And in North Carolina, we do not have great public or private employee protections.
Yeah, North Carolina is a right to work state, right? Meaning companies can fire employees for any reason. There are more protections for public employees, but that doesn't mean they aren't being fired for what they say. We've seen different situations play out in different ways. Earlier this year, for example, a state lawmaker rejected an invite to a town event in Apex because of profane voicemails left by a town official. That official kept their job. The town's communications director told WRAL Apex does not place unconstitutional restrictions on an employee's First Amendment right to engage in free speech that falls outside of their job duties. But 2 years ago in Greensboro, a firefighter was fired for making anti-LGBTQ statements on social media. We've seen similar situations in other states. One almost made it to the U.S. Supreme Court. A teacher in Massachusetts was fired for posts people said were transphobic. She filed a lawsuit claiming this violated her right to freedom of speech. And in June, the Supreme Court declined to take up the case. The First Amendment gives us freedom of speech, but how that actually plays out is very nuanced. Obscenity, fighting words, libel, incitement, threats, fraud, defamation, social media policies, company policies, considerations for time and place and manner, spoken versus written speech, speech as action, speech as money. The nuance is complicated and confusing. And as we've seen, there are inconsistent applications of the First Amendment argument. And that's all the more reason to be thoughtful about what we say, guys.
Yep. Thank you. Definitely. Appreciate it, Ashley. Mike, let's talk about this weather because things are about to change. I feel like we've had a nice little dry spell.
Yes.
We need the rain,
Definitely.
But how much of it will fall?
Oh, it could be 2 to 4 inches of rain in this area here. That's where the flood watch is. And I'm wondering if that flood watch will be expanded because the flooding threat for tomorrow is actually expanded farther to the west. All the heaviest rain now is still offshore. Now, here's the flooding risk for tonight. Where you see the green, it's a low end risk. Where you see the yellow, it's a medium risk, which is generally confined to the northern coastal plain and the Outer Banks. But this is new this afternoon. The medium threat has actually been stretched farther west, now including parts of northern Wake County, northern Durham County, Person County, all of Granville County, and parts of Mecklenburg County in southern Virginia. So I'm curious to see if the flood watch will be extended. More of Wake County and Chatham County and also Johnston County added into the low end risk for flooding tomorrow. So it's 74 right now at RDU. The dew point 57, and since the air is relatively dry, once it starts to rain, especially during the day tomorrow, we'll see the temperatures hold steady in the 60s instead of the 70s and 80s we had today. 73 in Cary, 74 right now in Rollsville, 74 in Wake Forest, 70 at South Hill, 72 at Roxborough, 74 right now in Southern Pines. So that cutoff low that I mentioned that was going to develop when we were talking last Thursday and Friday has developed. It's over the southeast right now. The surface reflection is an area of low pressure off the Outer Banks. Now, it's a non-tropical low, so we're not going to see this suddenly ramp up to have a name or be a tropical depression, but it will back inland and bring some of that heavier rain that's offshore inland during the night tonight and during the day tomorrow. So at 7 a.m. on Futurecast, we start the day with clouds. We start the day with temperatures in the 60s. It'll be breezy. And where you see the reds, oranges, and yellows, that's where there's moderate to heavy rainfall. So as we advance this through the morning commute, all this heavier rain rotates into the triangle and will be widespread. So it's most likely that your morning commute will be slowed down, especially if we're seeing this kind of rain during the commute. And Elizabeth will have more about that with the live dual Doppler 5000 radar tomorrow morning starting at 4:30. 10 a.m., 63 in Raleigh, 62 at South Hill, 63 at Rocky Mount. By lunchtime, we're still in the 60s, still looking at rain across the area, still breezy. So with the breeze and the rain and temperatures being in the mid 60s here in the triangle tomorrow afternoon, it might feel a little chilly. So you might want to opt to have a jacket handy. It'll be a rather cool day compared to the 83 what we would typically see for this time of year. 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, still an overcast, breezy and cool. Spot areas of light rain and drizzle, likewise for 11 o'clock tomorrow night. So tomorrow will be an unsettled day with the threat for flood advisories or flash flood warnings. So we'll see rain develop tonight from the east moving to the west, upper 50s to low 60s, the lows 61 in Raleigh and Rocky Mount, 62 in Fayetteville. And then tomorrow it's breezy, it's cool, it's a wet day, a WRAL weather alert day because it's going to be concentrated more in the morning, which could slow down the morning commute. The roads will be wet, accident threats could increase, and also we have that flooding threat as well. 66 Raleigh, 70 at Fayetteville, 67 at Rocky Mount. 7-day forecast. Tomorrow's that WRAL weather alert day. Wednesday, the low begins to move out. We'll be left with clouds, 30% chance of light rain, 74. Back to sunshine Thursday and Friday. Look how fast we rebound. Low 80s on Thursday, upper 80s on Friday. Area high school football games, it'll be warm on the bleachers, maybe humid too. And the next chance for showers and thunderstorms next Sunday, the high around 77.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Hey, if you see breaking news out there as this weather moves through or any time in your area, or maybe you just have a tip for us, please report it. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send us your video, pictures, or a tip to our newsroom. Hey, one last thing for you tonight. It's never too late to follow your dreams. Just ask the 58-year-old mother of two who joined the NC State Marching Band. That's after the break. one last thing for you tonight. An NC State grad student proves you're never too old to fulfill your passions. Lois Rogie is a mother of two, works full-time, is in her second year of grad school at NC State, and she's in the marching band. Oh, this is great.
So good.
The power sound of the South.
Lois plays the mellophone. It's the marching version of the French horn. She says her kids did high school marching band, and so she figured, why not me? Yeah, why not you? She contacted the band director, asked if she could join, and then after a lot of practice, she sent in an audition tape. And she got the gig, marching for football games.
But yeah, it's really busy working full time and taking a class and then devoting time to marching band rehearsal too. But it's like I say, it keeps me very, very busy in the fall semester, but it's worked out.
Oh, I just love the excuse. Hey, can you meet for dinner tonight? I can't. I'm in the marching band. So Lois says her kids come, they watch her all the time, they see themselves as reverse band parents. Lois hopes that her story can inspire others not to give up on their passions.
I mean, you never know what your next season is going to bring. And, don't count yourself out. Just there's something that you still want to do, even if it's something like band, give it a shot, see if you can do it.
How exciting.
Lois.
What a great example.
She's an inspiration.
I know, I like her. We appreciate you being with us tonight. Thanks for making WRAL your choice for local news. Our next newscast is at 10 o'clock on Fox 50, and we're back here at 11 on WRAL.
Have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.